Welcome to this in-depth discussion. Today we have a fascinating document, which appears to be a record of teachings from the Australian Buddhist Association regarding a very core section of the Buddhist Avatamsaka Sutra, the chapter on the 10 dedications. This material records a dialogue, seemingly between a master and disciples, deeply analyzing the stages of bodhisattva practice, particularly focusing on the attainment of Vajradvara Bodhisattva and his exposition of the profound meaning of the 10 dedications. Our task is to distill key insights from this potentially deep content, paying close attention to the importance of the concept of samadhi, how to understand the 10 dedications, and how to apply them in our own lives. The material begins by mentioning the term, attaining the unimpeded light of the Dharma. This sounds different from the usual talk about learning the Dharma or overcoming learning obstacles. Does the attainment here refer to a state that has already been reached? You've hit the nail on the head. The attainment here is indeed not about the process of searching or learning, but a state of complete understanding, an effortless application of all worldly and transcendent principles. Like the wisdom possessed by a Buddha, it's not just reading the map, it's having the map, the vehicle, and even the ability to pave your own road, the feeling of being able to use things freely. The former is entering a process, still familiarizing oneself with overcoming difficulties, but attaining the unimpeded light of the Dharma is possessing it after achievement. And this unimpeded nature comes from the inner light of wisdom. Because of wisdom, one can thoroughly see the true nature of everything, see very clearly, and thus apply and change things as one wishes. Once you grasp the fundamental principle, some rules established for convenience in entering the path can even be transcended or temporarily set aside because you understand the underlying mechanism. Next, it mentions that all Buddhas bestowed many powerful abilities upon Vajradvara Bodhisattva, such as immeasurable wisdom and unimpeded eloquence. Why specifically him? What was special about him? This touches upon the core focus of the exposition. The key reason Vajradvara Bodhisattva received everything is that he had already entered into samadhi. We often hear of samadhi concentration, but here it is described as a very important root of goodness, skill power, a stable, powerful inner strength. Many profound achievements, such as the manifestation of wisdom or the use of supernatural powers, require this continuous, uninterrupted power to manifest. Without this stable foundation, it's like building a house on shaky ground. It cannot be completed. The exposition uses the analogy of boiling water. If you only light matches intermittently, the water in the pot will never boil. There must be a strong, continuous great fire, sustained all at once, for the water to boil. Therefore, Vajradvara Bodhisattva could receive immeasurable wisdom because he possessed a powerful and continuous samadhi concentration. Like a roaring fire, the Buddhas speak to bodhisattvas who have this foundation because they have the vessel to accept and practice, ultimately leading to achievement. Conversely, if the concentration is insufficient, like lighting matches on and off, even if the Buddha speaks, they cannot truly receive or understand it, let alone achieve anything. This is why the Buddha chose to speak to great bodhisattvas like him. By the way, to clarify, is this Vajradvara Bodhisattva the same as the Vajragarbha Bodhisattva Jingongzang Pusa, sometimes mentioned? As their names sound similar, they are different bodhisattvas. Although both names contain Vajra diamond, indestructible, their vows and specializations differ. Vajradvara Bodhisattva focuses on establishing the Dharma, the Dava banner, standard, clearly manifests the merits and doctrines of the Buddha Dharma, establishing the framework for practice, giving people a path to follow, like an architect designing the blueprint. Vajragarbha Bodhisattva, however, focuses on guarding the Dharma, representing the protection of the true teaching, ensuring the Dharma is not distorted by external aggression or internal misunderstanding. So, one builds the doctrine, the other guards it. One emphasizes construction, the other protection. Both are high-level bodhisattvas, but their roles emphasize different aspects. Today's discussion centers on Vajradvara Bodhisattva, the builder of doctrine. The material describes a solemn scene. Buddhas from the 10 directions extending their right hands to touch and bless, patting the crown of the head. Vajradhara Bodhisattva's head. This surely isn't just a simple pat on the head or a blessing, is it? Absolutely not. This is an extremely significant demonstration and enactment. The core purpose of the Buddha's coming to the world is to reveal and enable understanding of the Buddha's wisdom. This touching the crown is a living demonstration and enactment, carrying at least 3 meanings. First, it is a public confirmation that the profound essence of the Dharma has been transmitted to him by past Buddhas, a confirmation of the lineage. Second, it is the highest certification of his practice achievement, indicating that he has reached the level to expound the Dharma. Third, it acts like a signal or switch, awakening him from deep meditation to begin his work formally lecturing the profound teachings he has realized and been certified in, namely, the 10 dedications to the assembled bodhisattvas. It's like the turning of the tassel at a graduation ceremony, which is also an official appointment. You have learned enough. You are qualified. And now it is your turn to step onto the stage and share. It's interesting that the Buddha did not speak directly to all the bodhisattvas, but had Vajradhara Bodhisattva relay the teachings. What is the intention behind this? This reflects the wisdom of the Dharma's transmission. If the Buddha did everything himself, the disciples would not get the opportunity to practice, and great disciples like Vajradhara would miss the chance to stand on their own. The Buddha trusted that he had understood, so he gave him the opportunity to teach. This in itself is a deeper form of cultivation and achievement. The Buddha remains present to confirm accuracy, but the stage belongs to the Bodhisattva. Giving opportunities is also a form of education. After rising from meditation, Vajradhara Bodhisattva began to preach the 10 dedications. Does this 10 represent 10 sequential steps? Like climbing a staircase one step after another? The exposition clarifies. The 10 dedications are not linear steps, but 10 major categories, like the 10 massive pillars that form the base of a Buddha's throne, or 10 crucial foundational organs of the body. These are indispensable cornerstones for achieving Buddhahood. Without any one category, the foundation is unstable and cannot be perfected. The emphasis is not on the 1 to 10 sequence, but on them collectively supporting the final, complete state. These 10 types of dedication have unique aspects and functions, but in the attainment of Buddhahood, they mutually encompass and merge one as 10, and 10 is 1. From the perspective of achieving the whole, this is the case. But for beginners, understanding and practicing them as 10 distinct categories provides a clear framework with specific points of focus. Study them separately first, but know that in the end, they are one. The material lists the names of the 10 categories, such as the dedication to save beings without perceiving beings, the unfailing dedication, the dedication equal to all Buddhas, the dedication reaching everywhere, the dedication of the boundless treasury of merit, the dedication of using all equal good roots, the dedication equal to following all beings, the dedication to the Sugness mark, the dedication of unfettered liberation, and finally, the dedication of entering the boundless Dharma realm. Even the names sound vast and profound. Indeed, for listeners struggling with daily life and heavy afflictions, these 10 sound very remote. Where should one start? The exposition offers a practical suggestion. Beginners can start with the 9th dedication, the dedication of unfettered liberation, Wu Fu Wu Juo Zhuo Hixiang. Why this one? Even the name unfettered liberation sounds profound. Its profundity points directly to the root, guiding one to recognize their original nature. Inherent nature. The essence of the mind has never been bound, nor does it cling to anything. It is originally pure, free, and liberated. But we often feel constrained and tied down by habits of thought and reactions to external objects, like the sky being clear but covered by dark clouds. The 9th dedication helps one first recognize that inherently clear sky, the inherent nature, knowing that all phenomena are manifestations of one's own mind, and the mind itself is without clinging. This is the crucial foundation for entering the bodhisattva stages of realization. If one hasn't found the treasure of their own inherent nature, trying to save beings or equal all Buddhas is built on a weak foundation. Instead of seeking liberation externally, It is better to turn inward to recognize the inherently free state. It is not something created by practice, but something that has always been there, requiring only discovery and abiding within it. It transcends wisdom and merit. It is completely whole, obscured only by acquired habits and false thoughts. You can better understand the inherent nature by contemplating scriptural examples. Such as what? Like the example in the Shurangama Sutra, Lingyan Jing of King Prasenajit contemplating the flow of the Ganges River and lamenting his old age. The Buddha reminds him, does the faculty of seeing that observes the flowing and changing river change? It neither arises nor ceases. It remains constant. Or the story of Rahula striking the bell sound arises and ceases, but the faculty of hearing that perceives the sound does not follow the arising and ceasing. These guide one to realize that pure, fundamental awareness faculty, a capacity for seeing, hearing, feeling, and knowing which is not constrained by external objects, is itself liberation, like the sixth patriarch Lune. How wondrous that the inherent nature is originally pure, originally unarisen and undying. I think I understand now. The first step is to observe and contemplate, to recognize and become familiar with this inherently liberated inherent nature. Then, since the inherent nature is already liberated, why is it still necessary to dedicate the merits of practice towards the unfettered liberation? What is the function of dedication, Hixiang? A key question. Dedication is the act of consciously directing the accumulated merits, positive energy, or resources from good deeds and practice towards a specific goal. Although the inherent nature is originally pure, the mind of an ordinary person is like a runaway wild horse, easily pulled astray by external conditions and inner habits, with distracting thoughts flying everywhere. Merely knowing one's inherent nature is pure is not enough. One needs power to stabilize the chaotic mind and allow for continuous, stable realization and abiding in the inherent nature. It's like needing fuel to keep a car driving steadily towards its destination. Without enough merit to support it, the mind easily scatters, and even if one glimpses the inherent nature, it is hard to maintain. Therefore, accumulating merits and directing them towards the clear recognition and stable abiding in the inherently liberated nature, this is the concrete method for practicing the ninth dedication. Accumulate meritorious fuel through upholding precepts, meditation, etc., and set the intention to dedicate it to stabilizing the experience of the inherently liberated, unfettered nature. Will this then connect to the 10th dedication, entering the boundless Dharma realm, Rufa Jiwaliang Hixiang? What is the link? Yes, there is a connection. To enter the vast Dharma realm of the Bodhisattva and stabilize practice, one of the foundational practices is upholding the Bodhisattva precepts. Upholding the precepts is itself a powerful way to accumulate merit in Mahayana Buddhism, such as the 3 categories of pure precepts mentioned in the Mahayana Sutra on the origin of mind and ground of being, Tshang Ben Shang Shindi Guanjing 1, precepts of restraining evil, preventing wrong actions. 2. Precepts of engaging in goodness, doing all wholesome deeds. 3. Precepts of benefiting sentient beings, acting for the welfare of others. The power generated from upholding these precepts can be strongly dedicated to helping stabilize the experience of the inherent natures unhindered. Liberation realized in the 9th dedication. From recognizing the inherently liberated nature within 9th, accumulating fuel through actions like upholding precepts and practicing virtue 10th, and then wisely utilizing dedication to support stable abiding. This provides a practical, sequential path. First, recognize the priceless treasure within. Then act to accumulate merit, and dedicate that merit to not being shaken by the external winds and rains. That was explained wonderfully. Time is nearly up. Let's quickly summarize the core points distilled from this exposition. First, samadhi right concentration is the key foundation for deeply understanding the Dharma and achieving unimpeded wisdom. It requires continuous focus. Like the great fire to boil water, intermittent effort leads to no achievement. Second, the Buddha's touching the crown is not just a blessing but a demonstration of Dharma transmission, certification of achievement, and an activation signal to inspire the Bodhisattva To arise and undertake the task of teaching, the core 10 dedications are not linear steps, but 10 foundational categories that constitute the Buddha body. Like the body's parts or the throne's pillars, mutually encompassing the complete whole. Finally, the most practical point. Start with the 9th dedication to recognize the inherent nature as originally pure and unconditioned. Then, accumulate merit through actions like upholding Bodhisattva precepts 10th, and dedicate this merit to stabilizing the experience of abiding in the inherently pure, unimpeded freedom. The core realization from today's discussion is that true liberation is not a distant goal to be laboriously constructed, but the act of recognizing and returning to our inherent state. Much of practice is about clearing away the clouds like afflictions and clinging that obscure our inherent nature, strengthening the connection to that nature through continuous, purposeful practice and the dedication of merit. Here is a final life practice to leave you with. Since the inherent nature is inherently liberated, today or in the near future, choose one small good deed like a friendly smile, patiently listening to someone, a small eco-friendly action, or a few minutes of mindful breathing. After completing it, consciously dedicate the resulting peace, joy, and sense of accomplishment. May this small energy help myself and all beings to better recognize and abide in the inherent, pure, unimpeded freedom within. Try it. Connect with your inner freedom through small actions. Thank you for sharing. You are most welcome.